Yeah, back in 2000 when I first started for Clare and RESD, they had a fiber optic network that all the schools, including the community college, put together to create an interactive television network for classroom. So once I realized that they had this asset for ITV, I thought, well, we could use that for data as well, internet.
In 2007, we were experiencing some difficulty with our technology. We needed high-speed broadband service, and we did not have access to it in an economical, affordable way. One day, the director of technology for the RESD in Clare County was in paying his utility bill. He's a city resident, and we started talking, and I asked Ken very casually, how do I get connected to the fiber that you own and operate? Ken, being a very positive, can-do kind of community-oriented individual, says, we can do that.
They had approached me and asked me if there was a way that we could connect and get to those people. And I kind of thought I died and went to heaven because we had this great resource, this great asset that we could share through the community to make that happen.
And that's where this whole project started. It wasn't easy in the beginning. There was a lot of pieces that we had to pull together. As I'd mentioned, the city of Clare was having technology issues. We could not back up our data on a daily basis because of the slow connection speeds that we had. The municipal software and the public safety software that we utilize on a daily basis to serve the public was not capable of being used because of the technology challenges that we had. At the same time, Clare County, the Sheriff's Department and the jail was experiencing the same exact issues, and the county courthouse. As those two challenges were working together, Ken, again being somewhat the common bond, talked to his superintendent about the technology resources that they have that were underutilized and capable of serving the needs of the local community.
Over the years, working with the community college, talking with a lot of the city entities, there was talk about trying to make a connection between the governmental entities to get them high-speed internet.
Interestingly, Ken was knowledgeable of this because he's a member of our reserve police officer department. And Keith Yatz, who served as the 911 director for Clare County, was also a member of our reserve auxiliary police department. So the two of them were aware of the challenges of the city, the challenges of the county, and the resources of the RESD. And that connection through the superintendent of schools, who served on the Clare County Enterprise Community, opened up the conduit to the enterprise community, whose expressed interest was to expand broadband technology throughout the entire county.
Well, the enterprise community was a 10-year program federally sponsored to improve the economic development of the community here in Clare in particular. And it was coming to an end. We had to, coming to the end of the 10-year program, and we had to somehow come up with projects that would fit our particular goal.
Jerry Berger had been trying to get to the unserved, underserved populations of Clare County with high-speed broadband. At that time, County Commissioner Lynn Grimm, as well as Cheryl Pressler, superintendent, my boss here at the Clare RESD, was sitting on that board. They wanted to try to get out to those unserved, underserved populations of Clare County.
At the same time, it became knowledgeable that to the enterprise community that we had the county and the city of Clare in particular that were in need of technology, high-speed technology, and that's how it sort of came about. The enterprise community had one gentleman by the name of John Wolf that sat down with Ken Shinovar and of the RESD and the county, in particular the county, and this scheme about coming together with high-speed network for the entire county wirelessly, at least initially proved feasible because of the funding, limited funding we had. So that basically brought the programs together. The idea was to try to come up with a scheme that would benefit the entire county.
To get to that, if you will, end point is going to take a little bit of work to get there. You can't just say, hey, we're going to be out in rural America. Otherwise, we'd have already had providers doing that. So the thought was to work with the community members, the local government entities, and go through different phases. The first phase was just to make an intergovernmental network between the three cities, or Clare City, the Village of Farwell, and Harrison, which would include the Clare County building in Harrison. And so after talking with the 911 dispatch director in Harrison, as well as the director of IT and treasurer for the city of Clare, we thought that we could make that happen. When the EC came to us, they basically said, we have $80,000, what can you do? And so myself and my engineer, Alex Hargrove, drew up on a whiteboard how we could connect all of the entities together. And so after looking at it for a while, we just couldn't believe how easy that it seemed, and we got to be missing something. Well, we weren't. It was literally that easy. It was just a matter of having the dollars to make it happen. So we worked with a local contractor, Protec Cabling in Clare, and basically in a handshake with that company and Steve Taylor as the primary lead there, we were able to build a fiber optic network for about 80 grand to connect 9 entities, basically the 2 cities, the county and the Village of Farwell, and then connecting out to their libraries, as well as connecting to their safety buildings.
And then the second phase was to serve the larger community, the entire county. And we recognize, being a rural, where everybody wants to be, wooded areas, large expanses where there's no people, the only way that you could effectively, economically serve them was through wireless technology.
At that point in time, Steve Kingsbury from the city had brought in Jeff Hall from ISP Management to talk about the potential for having him provide internet service out to the townships, because we wanted to look at that as the next phase.
Well, in 2010, when ISP Management began expansion of its wireless broadband network into Clare County, Steve Kingsbury, whom I'd become acquainted with through negotiations with the city of Clare, invited me to a meeting with Ken Shinovar from the Clare Gladwin RESD and himself to discuss further broadband rollout into Clare County. And they asked me what it would take for ISP Management to continue to build out into rural parts of Clare County. And I explained to them trees, hills, no tower space, no business case.
And we knew that this would be a difficult proposition because nobody would come out into our rural area because of the business model. There just couldn't be a case made to make money. And if you can't make money, we're not going to be able to provide the service. So we, meaning Steve and I, talked about a business model that ISP Management could potentially use, and that is have the townships pay for and purchase their own tower assets, and then have the internet service provider put on the equipment to then broadcast that out, not only to the township itself, but to the community.
I joined the Clare County Broadband Group, and we attended some township meetings and got township buy-in, and we ended up building 5 towers for townships, plus acquiring rights to be on 3 other towers. So today we're on 12 towers throughout Clare County.
So then after that happened, we moved into another phase, and that was when the Michigan Connect project, Connect Michigan and Connected Nation, came on scene and was helping us to develop maps, to develop surveys, and to get the word out to everybody about what we were trying to accomplish.
My name is Tom Stevenson with the Michigan Public Service Commission. I'm part of the Connect Michigan program, and we're tasked with expanding broadband, both the access and adoption and use of broadband throughout the state of Michigan. I started working with the Clare Group back in November of 2011. At that time, when I met the Clare Group, they were well underway. but they already had an organized team and they were already beginning their build out of fiber connections, developing their fiber ring. In addition, they were doing a tower expansion using fixed wireless. So what we did with them, working with the group, is that we started bringing in some regional partners like the Northeast Michigan Council of Governments. We started working with the Clare group to develop an action plan and assessment. Basically, what we're trying to do is help them leverage the assets that they're already beginning to develop for their citizens. Since that time, we've been working with the group. We've put together some small business and social media workshops with the group, helped them get a grant through the Community Economic Development of Michigan's organization, and we put in a large workshop there. In addition to that, we just launched just got done having our Connect Clare County Business Summit, or we call it the C3 Summit, C3 Business Summit, which has become very popular. Working with the Clare group is a very dynamic group. We're pulling in people from all different parts of the community. We have people from education, city and local government, county government, township government, also working with a number of the libraries in the community, and also the healthcare community, along with all the providers. Altogether, this very dynamic group has become very creative in developing a good action plan. And on November 6th of 2013, Clare County will become the 7th connected certified community in the state of Michigan.
Here we are, just 6 short years later, and we have multiple towers up throughout the county, serving many people. We have now just recently received certification, 7th in the state, as being a broadband certified county.